On Monday in Mpumalanga, an 18-year-old matric pupil succumbed to a snake bite. The Provincial Education Department has since expressed condolences. Now, the Mawewe Secondary School pupil in Dumphries village of Bushbuckridge was part of a school camp when the incident occurred. But with the summer and rainy season upon us and this being time for snakes to mate, what are the precautionary measures to take when one is bitten at campsites and hiking spots? Now, to help us on this discussion, we are joined by Kruger Shalati Head Ranger Bonga Njajula. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I hope I didn't butcher your surname there, Mr. Njajula. Thank you for your time. Now, it's the summer season. We are seeing a lot of snakes come out. How prevalent are snake bites at this time of the year?
Hi, good evening, Katlego. Thank you so much, and good evening to the viewers as well. Yeah, so it's such a very unfortunate incident that happened to this young person. I would say summer, because snakes are reptiles, so they can't generate their metabolism. So they need the outside environment, which is the heat of the sun. So basically, when it's summer, they're likely to be much more frequent to be seen, out and about. But snakes as well, they're very sensitive to vibrations, which is when people are moving around, they tend to try and run away as much as they can. But in most cases, when people got bitten by snakes, it happens that sometimes people, they tend to interfere with them. So my sort of advice is to there are lots of professionals out there, especially in Kruger Park. There's so many lodges. They've got a dozen of staff which are trained to handle snake in a professional manner. So should those someone see a snake, I think it would be utmost important to just not to touch them and just report it to someone who can actually assist.
We will come to those tips that we give people in terms of what it is that one should do when encountering a snake. But maybe let's just go back to the discussion of which are the kinds of snakes we are most likely to encounter in South Africa, and especially those that are very dangerous to people.
Yeah, so it depends on the certain area of the, in South Africa and around. South Africa is known to have most dangerous snakes, which include the black mamba and spitting cobras. You've got some of the puff adders, vipers. So there's quite a number of dangerous snakes around. But there's lots more non-dangerous snake than it is the dangerous ones.
I see. I mean, a lot of people speak of precautionary measures, especially in communities where people can protect their home, so to speak. And there's been a lot of myths in terms of the types of plants that you can plant around your yard to avoid snakes. I mean, the latest that I've heard is pouring diesel around your yard in order for snakes not to come close to it. What precautionary measures that are within reason can people take in ensuring that snakes don't reach their own compounds?
I think thank you for that. I've heard lots of myths as well around, preventing snakes coming from your home. Certainly diesel, I wouldn't recommend because it's not environmentally friendly as well. So I think the snakes, what attracts the snakes into the house? It's rodents. So basically, if we can eliminate sort of the rodents that are in the house, sort of like rats and mice and all of those things that's coming, that the snake will come into the house and look for. And also make sure that, the whole house is sealed properly. There's no sort of gaps in between so that the snakes can actually creep in. That would be my advice.
Well, I can't imagine a snake creeping in through the toilet, especially in the night. But when encountering a snake and you're indoors, what's the most reasonable and appropriate reaction that one should have, apart from running away?
I think it's the best thing is to sort of calm yourself down. I think that's the most thing, you just calm yourself down. and try to look at the snake and try to see if you can, remember the color of the snake, the size of it, where it went, so that you can, when you relay that message into a professional, you've got at least an idea of what the snake it is, so that he can bring the proper equipment to actually catch the snake.
Sure, I can't imagine having to keep an eye on a snake. But going back to the student who was unfortunately killed due to that snake bite, in an instance such as that, what should one do in order to ensure that you don't end up with a death situation after the snake has bitten you? Are there preventative measures? Are there measures that you can take after the snake bite that can ultimately prevent death?
Yes. So basically, there is a sort of a first aid that you could apply when you've been bitten by a snake, and then what should you apply that first aid, the first aid the application, and then what will happen is you'll relay someone to the doctor, to the nearest hospital or clinic, and they would normally assist further. But if it's suddenly a remote area where these facilities are sort of far away, then I think it would be unfortunate. But I think the best thing is to sort of try and get educate people in these areas where there's sort of like there's not enough sort of clinics and all of that, and also give as much help and precaution and teach them about snakes, how to approach them instead of trying to do anything else that will be harmful to them.
I mean, it's the holiday season. A lot of people are not only going out to holiday in terms of safaris, but many are also making trips back home in the homelands. What advice would you have for people, especially those that could possibly go into safaris with dangerous animals in general, just besides snakes? What should one pack? What behavior should one observe in order to constantly keep safe?
Yeah, so safari goers, it's really much more popular thing, especially for Kruger National Park and the surroundings. So I would suggest people to remember to pack mosquito spray or bug spray. That's at utmost sort of importance. It helps, because in some areas you've got high risk of malaria and all of this stuff, and also suddenly to pack some nice sort of comfortable shoes for walking, that would be ideal. And of course, once you're in these areas, you want to sort of either participate on activities such as game drive or walking, then a set of binoculars would be ideal as well. And of course, because of the Mpumalanga areas being so warm and hot, of course you will need a sunscreen to actually have it handy. And of course, if you do, you need that sort of like a long rim hat just to prevent you from sunburn. And so this is amazing. I think being Kruger National Park and also the concessions around, there are some rules and regulations. I think if people they do follow the rules, I think there's no harm will come on their way. When I say that, people, if you're driving yourself around the Kruger, and you shouldn't be stopping where you shouldn't be, and being alert of the monkeys and in the picnic sites, and keep your car doors closed at all times. So those are the precautions that they would consider when about to visit.
All right, Bonga, thank you so much for your time this evening. A very interesting discussion of something that I'm very terrified of, but thank you so much for the information and for the lessons that we need to learn in encountering, especially when it comes to snakes. That was Bonga Njajula, the head ranger at Kruger Shalati, speaking to us there on how to take precautions, especially when we encounter snakes, as it's a very hot season and many of them are looking for cooler places.